why not check out our website at wrestlingfatherandson.weebly.com, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Wrestling Fun and welcome to an unscheduled wrestling rant. Right, like I said, this is an unscheduled wrestling rant. I've just watched Raw, and in particular what I'm going to rant about at the minute, is I wasn't too happy, and it really did get me a little bit angry. It's going to divide opinions, I can understand that, but my opinion is that I wasn't best pleased with the way it was done. I think it could have been done a lot better. I'm talking about the Becky, Charlotte and Ronda Rousey brawl. Like I said, it's going to divide people. Some people are going to say they really loved that, and some people are going to say it wasn't done as well as what I think. Personally, I'm on the other side. I don't think it was done really well. That's not to say there weren't some things in that were done quite well. They were, but overall, as a whole, I think that I didn't think it was written very well. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit with the WWE. It is obviously a character-driven TV program. They're obviously not. They're playing characters. They're not their real people. And it's not a real-life brawl. I can understand that, but I do think that they could have written it a little bit differently. First of all, I'll say that I think WWE employs the worst security in the world. They get the worst law enforcement in the world, and in a real life situation it'd be a little bit different to what it was on Raw. Obviously, like I say, this evening, or this afternoon should I say, me and Kai are going to do the half of Raw. We're going to I'm going to split the week that was WWE this week, because I think there's going to be quite a bit to talk about, and if not, it's going to be one big long video, which I don't really think I want to do. I'll pass over this bit in that, and we'll get a few thoughts, but this is mainly about that sequence. I didn't want to do a massive rant on that video. I wanted to just leave it to its own separate video, so that's why I've done this video. So let's, a bit of the history. Obviously Charlotte, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey are going to have a match at WrestleMania this week, this Sunday. It was announced it was going to be a winner-takes-all match now, because obviously Charlotte won the SmackDown Women's Championship last week, and Ronda Rousey's a Raw champion at the minute. So them two belts are now going to be on the line. So they had a six-man tag. They had Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte in one corner, and then the Riot Squad in the other corner. Had a match. At the end of that match, it descended into a bit of a scuffle, which brought down security. The security pulled them all apart. To be fair, in that situation, they probably just separate them and get them out of the building. They didn't. They kept them in the ring. This is WWE after all. This is what they do. They kept them in the ring. Obviously, Ronda Rousey and then everyone else, they sort of getting back into a scuffle again, and then that brings down the law enforcement. It was the law enforcement that I had the issue with. If they'd adjusted the security, pulled them apart, then pulled them to the back, had a bit of a scuffle in the back, then that would have been probably a better way of doing it. When the law enforcement come down, pulled them apart, Ronda Rousey, who, to be honest, like I say, you have to suspend your disbelief, I just say that, but in that situation, she would have been probably restrained. She managed to get out them security officers, go for Becky Lynch, attack Becky Lynch, and in the process floor a police officer to the ground. They ended up having to cuff her. Then Becky Lynch went for Ronda Rousey. They cuffed her. They took them out of the ring. Then Charlotte got in the middle of it. They cuffed her and took them to the back. Now, like I said, they're the worst law enforcement in the world. At the end of the day, I don't really like these pull apart situations, because oh, well, they're not going to bother to really restrain them away. They're just going to get hit together. And yeah, it does heighten it up, and it does get the crowd a bit fired up. But that bit, I can overlook that bit. That bit's not too bad. That was okay. That's not where I have the big issue with. The big issue I have is when they go to the back, where they basically put Ronda Rousey in a police car. They put Becky Lynch in that same police car, which, in a real life situation, why would you do that? That's just, it was ridiculous. That bit was ridiculous. They sort of had a brief sort of look at each other, and then they scuffled again. I just thought that was really overdone. It was really overdone, that bit. They ended up Ronda Rousey kicked out the window, smashed the car. So you have to add criminal damage now to the charges. There's already assault on a police officer. Now there's criminal. Now there's criminal damage now. Obviously they put Charlotte in, because they had 2 police cars. They put Charlotte in the first one. They put Ronda Rousey in the back one. They then proceeded to take Becky Lynch out of that police car, put her into the front police car, and what happened? They get fighting again. Charlotte, as soon as they open that police car door, Charlotte's out. And I just thought, in that situation, again, why are you putting these people who are fighting in the same car, in a confined space, in a real life situation? You wouldn't put 2 people who just assaulted each other in the same police car. That just didn't make sense to me. I thought, that's a bit stupid. And yeah, it just wants to heighten up the drama. I understand that. Again, I can overlook some things. That I really can't. I don't think they did that very well. I think it was stupid. And then, obviously, as they were sort of, Charlotte and Becky were scuffling, the police car at the back decided to go forward and smash into the rear of to the front one. It turns out it was Ronda Rousey in the driver's seat, with her hands cuffed behind her back, you've got to remember. So how did she turn the key? The only way I could see is you sort of get in sideways, turn the key, and then sort of, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, you know. Obviously, I'm going to guess they're an American automatic car, so they can't really put the gear. You can't really do the gears, can you? When your arms are around your back. I just thought that was really stupid. And how did she get? I suppose she could have climbed through, I suppose. But then that again points out, that sort of throws up the, how did she turn the key? If she goes through the back to the front, you'd have to go backwards, turn it, and then you'd have to confine yourself and sort of move around. It just didn't make sense. And who's watching her at this point as well? Where are the police officers? They know she's in the car. They allowed her to get into the front seat and drive into the car. Again, it just didn't make sense. This brawl was just, I wasn't very happy with it. You know, let's say, there are people out there who are going to disagree with me, and that's fair enough. If you think it was great, great. I'm all for that. But again, I think there are going to be people like me who didn't like that. Again, I'm very critical of the WWE, especially with like things like this. I do pick them apart. And yeah, like I said, it is a character-driven show. They're playing the real people, you know. But if you're going to do something like this, you have to write it right. And I don't think they writ it right. Like I say, I just thought it was a bit of a cluster. There's a bit too much going on. They were able to get to each other when they were handcuffs. That wouldn't happen in a real life situation. You have to think about it as a real life situation. And then to cap the whole thing off, which really annoyed me, is that at the very end of Raw, they had Rey Mysterio versus Baron Corbin, and then Kurt Angle comes out, does an ankle lock to Baron Corbin, taps out, and then they go, oh, previously in the night, this is what happened with Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey. Why? They came, it's the Raw before WrestleMania, so why didn't that sequence go at the end? The main event, that would have been better to be at the end of the show and then leave with that, with them all being spin off into all spin off in cop cars, and you know, and not being funny, like I said, all these criminal charges, would they even make WrestleMania? Well, they'd probably get out on bail, but would they really put them in the match together? You know, it just doesn't make sense that way. It doesn't make sense. But like I say, suspend your disbelief. I have to suspend my disbelief in these situations. Like I say, that should have ended Raw, to be honest. Shouldn't have been halfway through Raw. It should have been written better. Like I say, there are going to be people who agree, people who disagree. Fair enough. Let me know in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't agree with me, let me know why. I'm always open to discussions, and I'm happy with the reactions. So yeah, if you like this video, then please give it a like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video, which will be the week that was WWE, which I'll be probably uploading a little while after this one. So I'll say goodbye. Bye-bye.